Hi friends, it's Tiffany from Bainbridge Blooms. Well, I am in my kitchen today doing a little therapy cooking, I would say, and I thought it'd be fun to bring you along. So I am making Irish pot roast today because my sister-in-law asked me for my recipe and I don't have it written down because I don't really follow recipes. So I thought today I might write it down, make a video, and share the recipe with all of you. So let's get started. It's so simple, but delicious and a staple in my family. All right, I have all the ingredients, I believe, laid out here. Let's start with the meat. Now, this is chuck roast. It is beef chuck roast. That's the cut you want, is chuck. Don't do like a pot roast or a rump roast or a sirloin roast. Don't do it. You want chuck roast from the butcher. That's what you want. This I got in bulk from my favorite store. Many of you know what it is. So I already had one that we ate, and this is the extra one that I got in bulk. So it is defrosted. This is about 2 pounds. 2 to 3 pounds is good. Whatever you get from the store or the butcher. Don't get too hung up on exact sizes of your meat because it's just a roast. Get a good size roast that looks good to you, okay? But just make sure it's a chuck roast. Now, let's talk about aromatics. We've got carrots. These are organic carrots. I've got garlic. I've got thyme, fresh thyme from the garden. About a handful-ish. I don't measure anything, guys, so bear with me. Oregano from the garden, another small little handful. And then I have onions. So these are little baby onions because they're what I grew in the garden. So it's like the equivalent of one medium onion, I would say. Okay, so then that's gonna happen. I also have some yummy red wine. This is a Cabernet. It's a cheap kind of Cabernet. I would say any red wine that you really like, I'd say the bolder the better. But use something you would actually drink because we're not going to use the whole bottle in the dish, so you should have some left over for dinner because why not have a glass of wine with dinner? And then stock. Now, I have vegetable stock right now because it's what was in my cupboard. I forgot to buy beef stock because I actually don't use a lot of beef stock. I have a ton of vegetable stock. As long as it's a yummy stock that you like, use it. Beef is great. I normally would use beef, but I'm also using vegetable today. So that's kind of the name of my game. I've got my bucket of salt because I buy everything in bulk, black pepper, and that's where you start. So it's very simple ingredients. Okay, so let's get going. I always prep my vegetables first because you don't want to get beef or anything on your cutting board before with the vegetables and stuff. So the main goal of these vegetables are to flavor for the broth and the meat. So we're not really going to be eating these as a side dish, so I'm not doing a ton of them. So I'm just going to do a rough chop on all of these. You don't have to be perfect, but you do want them to be a little on the smaller side so that they do cook and cook down, because we're going to kind of mash them into the gravy later, which you'll see. So the carrots, super rough chop. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Just make sure you get them nice and small. I did 2 carrots. Feels pretty good. These are pretty big carrots, okay? Compost bin for the chickens. Set that aside. Now, let's chop some onions. These are tiny. They're kind of annoying to cut, but that's okay. So when I was in Ireland, I'm not gonna lie, we just traveled to Ireland 2 months ago. I ordered some pot roast and some beef stew in some of the most famous pubs in Ireland. And not to toot my own horn, but almost everybody I talked to said that mine tasted better. I mean, this was literally one of the oldest pubs in Ireland we were at. I'm not going to say the name. You can just Google it. It was a cool place, but the food, I felt like it wasn't homemade. I kind of felt like it came out of a can. Granted, it probably did because they're literally serving thousands of people a day. Like, I don't even know how you would be able to make that much beef stew to, cater to all the tourists because it's one of the biggest tourist attractions in Dublin, Ireland. So we were there. We waited a long time to get a table and a long time to get the food. And we finally got the food and it was kind of disappointing. So stick to my recipe and you'll just be fine. So, all right, I'm gonna kind of only do these 3 onions, I think. They'll be fine. They're really small, but do as many as you want because it's your pot roast and it's okay if you kind of adapt it to how you want it to be. That's the beauty of cooking. That's why I love to cook. I can do what I want. And it typically, most of the time, it works out, you know? So I'm just gonna do a rough chop on these. Again, these are just gonna go in the pot to season the gravy and just kind of cook with the beef. Because I used to put everything, even the carrots for the side dish, in the pot and cook them together, but I thought the carrots were getting too mushy. So I'll probably cook some carrots as a side dish separately, or I might do another vegetable because we've been having a lot of carrots lately. But I do the side dishes like separately. So I used to put the potatoes in the pot with the beef, and I'm just not into it anymore. So I just do those separately. Okay, onions, good. Now garlic. Again, do as much as you feel fit. I love garlic. I have a heavy hand in garlic. So I'm gonna do, these are big cloves though. So there's 1, 2, well there's only 4. I'm gonna do all 4 of these, okay? Again, we're trying to flavor the gravy because the gravy is the best part. I'm gonna make mashed potatoes to go with this because you cannot have pot roast without mashed potatoes. Don't even try it. That's a rule in our family. Must have mashed potatoes. Okay? Again, we're just doing a rough chop. We're not at the Culinary Institute of America. We're in Tiffany's kitchen. I do what I want. Okay. Get that aggression out on the garlic. Okay. That's pretty good. Those are huge garlics, but it's gonna be delicious. Compost bowl. Just a rough chop. It's okay. Watch your fingers. Rough chop. Again, it's all about aromatics. These are going to be in the oven. Oops, I gotta preheat the oven. For 6 to 8 hours. So they're gonna become very tender, melt in your mouth. It's gonna be delish. So, speaking of the oven, I gotta preheat my oven to 300 degrees. Okay, preheat your oven to 300 degrees because we're going slow and low. We are not rushing this process. You're gonna need like 6 to 8 hours. All right, so we've got our aromatics all prepped. Now, let's talk about the beef. Here's the beef. Now I'm just gonna dump this in here so that I don't make too much of a mess. Do not be scared to season your beef, friends. It's gonna be cooking for hours. So don't be scared to salt things. Salt is your friend, unless you have a salt high tension problem. It is what it is. I don't know. Don't be scared to salt your beef, okay? That's one side. Pepper. Pepper is your friend too. Fresh ground pepper is your best friend. I do a lot of pepper. We're gonna sear this and you want the flavor. So again, do not be scared to season your meat. Lots of pepper. See that? You see all the seasoning? I'm gonna flip it over, get some tongs. And season the other side, okay? This is like a teaspoon, tablespoon. I can call it a tablespoon. So if you really want measurements. And then more pepper. A lot of times I'll put garlic powder on this, and actually I probably will. I love salt, pepper, garlic powder, you know? So let me grab that. I didn't grab that out of the cupboard. Garlic powder. Don't be shy. Season with your heart, friends. It's looking good. Because if you are like not seasoning a lot, it's just not gonna taste good. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that's basically the prep. You just chop these, and now we're gonna move everything over to the stove where we have my Dutch oven already warming up with a little olive oil. Okay, so now we're at the kitchen. Hi, I'm here. This is my trusty Dutch oven. If you don't have a Dutch oven, stop right now and go buy a Dutch oven on Amazon or wherever you shop. You need one of these in your life. I use this 3 times a week. That's why it's got so many markings on it. So I have about a tablespoon of olive oil in here, extra virgin olive oil in here, already warmed up. My stove is on like 6 or 7, so medium to high heat. We're gonna sear the chuck roast, okay? So you want to get a good sear and a sizzle. Hear that? That's the noise you want. Look at how perfectly that fits in this pan. So we're going to sear this for, I don't know how many minutes, just a few minutes to get some color and get some flavor in the pan, into the pot. Bringing all of the rest of the ingredients over. Now, while this is searing, it's gonna start caramelizing the fat that is naturally in the meat. It's also gonna be adding some crusties on the bottom of your pan, which is good because that is flavor. There's a technical term for it, and I do not remember the technical term. So let's just make sure we get a good sear on this. Okay, so it's been 5 or 6 minutes. I've been doing both sides. Look at the color on that right there. That's lovely. Look at what the pan looks like now. That's good too. So I'm just gonna do a little more on this side here. Get a little more of the fat into the bottom of the pan. Because you want all that seasoning and those fat and flavor in your bottom of your pan. Because remember, we're on the mission to have the best gravy ever. That's the best part. It's pretty good. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but we seared it. So I'm gonna add a little more olive oil to the bottom of the pan. It's pretty hot. I'm turning temperature down a little. So I'm down to like 4. This is when you add your carrots and your onions, and you let these saute, because the onions and the carrots are gonna release a little bit of water and loosen up the little grits of the bottom of the pan. Now we are building the flavors. Give it a stir. Try to scrape up. I have a rubber tip spatula. Do not use metal on these enamel pans. I'm scraping up those yummy bits on the bottom of the pan so that they don't burn too bad and so that they can cook. So let's let that saute for a few minutes. While that's doing its thing, I'm gonna just slowly but surely start adding the herbs and just stripping them in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. The thyme stems are so woody, you don't want the woody stems in there, okay? So I just strip them into the pot directly, just like that. I'm not even cutting them because it's rustic. It's supposed to be simple. You know, way back in the day, the women making these pots probably had 10 kids. They don't have time to be like spending hours in the kitchen. They had a farm in the Irish countryside. They had cows, they had beef they had to take care of. They're not like spending 17 hours cutting herbs. We're just throwing them in the pot. Getting some flavor. That's going to be a lot of yummy flavor. Same with the oregano. You probably could chop the oregano. These leaves are pretty small, so I'm just going to rip them and be rustic. You just don't want the stems. Notice I'm not stirring the pot too much because you want things to caramelize a little. It's okay if they get color. Color is good, guys. Don't be scared to cook your food. Okay, good amount of oregano. Notice I didn't put the garlic in just quite yet because garlic burns really easily. So you don't want to put the garlic in right away, but I'm going to add it pretty soon. So let's give this a little stir. See the herbs? Oh yeah, see now that's cooking down. Things are, look at changing color. That's looking really good. So now I'm going to add the garlic. And I'm gonna add my favorite part. Oh yeah, oh my God, it smells so good. Add the garlic. We're gonna let that cook for a minute. Give that a little stir in the pot. Oh my God, it smells so good. So this is just the bed that we're making to flavor our gravy, flavor our beef. Look at that. So now it's wine time. I add wine. Not everybody adds wine to their pot roast, but I love wine and that's what I do. So I'm gonna pour, I don't know, 2 cups or 1 cup. That was about 1 cup. 1.5, 2 cups, see the line? I'm not even at half a bottle. So I'd say 1 cup of wine. Now we're gonna let that simmer. I'm pulling the heat up to 6 right now. See how much wine I have in there? It's not a ton, but it's a good amount. I'm gonna bring that up to a nice hot boil because you do wanna cook out some of the alcohol. You don't want it to be overwhelming with alcohol. So that's gonna come to a boil and then you're just gonna put this right back on top. Make sure you get all the drippings and everything. Didn't get that many drippings, but there's some more seasoning in there. Don't waste anything. Okay? That's starting to come up to a boil. Now we're gonna add some stock because we want this to braise in the liquid. So red wine's good, but you do want to dilute it a little with stock. So I'm gonna do probably another 2 cups. I don't measure anything, guys, but this is what it looks like. So it's like halfway up the beef. I don't want to 100% submerge the beef because that's gonna be a lot. The beef is gonna let out liquid too. So bring this up to a boil. We're gonna put the lid on it and then we're gonna put it in the oven. Put the lid on. Now my pot is getting kind of warm, so I'm gonna put some hot. Turn your oven or stovetop off. Now it's really boiling. Yeah, we're really at a boil now. And then it goes in the oven. Into the oven you go. And that's it. So I am going to cook this in the oven at 300 degrees for a minimum of 6 hours. I'll check it in 6 hours. It probably needs 8 hours, slow and low. Now I'm gonna go work in the garden while this cooks. I will come back in 6 hours. Hi friends, it is Tiffany and I am very excited because I am back after we have baked or braised the pot roast. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it's only been 4 hours because I can tell we're getting really close. I wanted to check on it and I think it's actually done. So if you remember, this was only about a 2-pound roast. So that's pretty small. So you're not gonna need the full 8 hours, I don't believe. let's grab it from the oven and take a look. But I think we're probably done here making the pot roast. So remember, it's been in the oven at 300 degrees, and we're at exactly, what time is it? You know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm at 5 hours. Ugh, it's heavy. Okay, so I've got my tongs. Let's take a look and see what we have. I mean, that's a good sign. Oh yeah, it is done. So let me show you this. It is so hot, but it is falling apart. Look at that. So if I pick it up, literally falling apart. So that's really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this out of this pan, and I'm going to make a gravy, make some side dishes, make a salad, eat some sourdough, because that's already made, and we're all set. Let's try it. I made broccoli and sweet potatoes. Got a little beef. It's perfect. Okay, well, I am obsessed. This is my pot roast. Made a little sweet potatoes go with it, a little broccoli. I'm eating pretty good tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you will make this pot roast dinner soon, and look forward to some other new videos, because this is kind of fun for me. So hope you are having a great day. I will talk to you later. Bye.